This is going to be one of the most important and one of the most game-changing films we've ever gotten in history for Transformers since the IP started. Those are big words, but when you look at the non-stop, overwhelming outpouring of embrace from big media outlets, from fans, from everyday people, and you look at the confidence in the studio and Paramount for these early screenings and the trailers and the teases, the sneak peeks we're getting, this could be the game changer that we've been waiting for Transformers, in the movie industry, and I truly hope that we're in line for something peak. It's about time.
Alfonso, this is Optimus Prime. Hold on to your dreams. Never give up and never give in. Transform and roll out.
What's up, Alfonso Nation? It's your boy, Alfonso here, and welcome back to another rendition of Till We Reach 1. It's officially September as I record this video, so this month, we can officially say, this month will be the release of Transformers 1. This movie we've been talking about, we've been thinking about, we've been discussing, and as they keep releasing new trailers and different pieces of marketing, we're starting to get more and more excited. The fandom specifically is starting to really rile up in favor, in support of the movie, which is what we need. One of the things I love so much about this movie, before it even comes out, is how much history it's gonna make. It's a very historic film in a lot of ways. I mean, this is the first animated Transformers theatrical release since the 1986 G1 film, meaning it is technically the first in the 21st century, which is wild. It's also the first lore-focused Transformers movie that'll dive straight into the origins of Cybertron and all of its factions, from Autobots to Decepticons, and who knows what other factions it'll tease or it'll hint at. I mean, the only other animated film, aside from the 86 film, was Predacons Rising for Transformers Prime, which was essentially a continuation of the series of Season 3. You could have basically broken it up or even extended that movie into a very long Season 4, because the events were pretty much episodic in a way. You kind of had different jump cuts from different parts of Cybertron. You had different groups. You had Wojak and Prime with their expedition finding the Allspark reliquary. You had Ultra Magnus, and you had Bulkhead, and you had Smokescreen doing their thing, and then you had Bumblebee, looking for Predaking, and then you had the Predaking scenario, and then you had Unicron being transfigured into a new form, and you had his mission. So it felt like an episode, that jumps between Autobot Decepticon, but it was in movie form, but not theatrical release. The 86 film, in a way, was kind of the same thing. It was kind of an extension of the series, the 84 series. But this, which I love so much about this movie, it's not connected to a show. So it's not going to feel like you're continuing a story from a season that ended. This is starting completely from scratch, taking the lore from various continuities and making something from the ground up. That is what makes this movie more of a cinematic piece over the other two films, the animated films that we've gotten. This is also one of my favorite things, is the return of the legendary, iconic composer of Transformers Prime, Brian Tyler. He's one of my favorite composers ever. And he's one of my top 3 composers for Transformers, along with Steve Jablonsky, Yannick Bontemps. Brian Tyler is an absolute GOAT. It's one of my favorite things about the Transformers Prime series, is what I love so much about it, is the different aesthetic, the different feel that it brought. It didn't have the same melody, the same tone to the score, the More Than Meets the Eye tune. Transformers, More Than Meets the Eye. A lot of the shows had that, just in different styles. This was one of the shows that just had a completely ground up, brand new, innovative score that was so signature and special. So that's what I love about what he's bringing to this movie, because he's going to do the same thing. He's going to take hints from the franchise, of course, because we already heard it in the trailer, the More Than Meets the Eye tune with the trailer, and hopefully he brings some tunes from the Transformers Prime series, but also making something entirely new for this movie. That's what my hope is. And he's a legend. He's so incredibly talented. He's done more than just Transformers, Iron Man 3, for example, and other films. Just that by itself makes me incredibly hopeful that this movie is going to deliver the feel that I want it to. And then we have some pretty big moves by the studio by casting Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Keegan-Michael Key, Brian Tyree Henry for the main 4 characters, at least marketed characters, for this film. This is all of their debuts. So that's another historical element that this film brings, is it is their debut into the franchise, right? This is also, as I said, because it's not connected to any show or series, the possible start of a new continuity. They already have a vision of what they're going to do to bring the story even further from where Transformers 1 takes it. This can be the start of a whole new trilogy. They have the vision, where they just need the performance. This next historical fact is one that has been a little disheartening for a lot of fans, just, from hearing the news, and I'm not gonna lie, myself included, and that is, this is the first movie in theaters for Transformers where Peter Cullen will not be the voice actor for Optimus Prime, or at least the lead voice. We don't know if he's gonna make a cameo, at least, it's not known right now. It may not happen. Chris Hemsworth might just deliver it, do a home run, which I really hope, if there is no cameo. But our iconic Peter Cullen, the man who gave birth to this character, who brought it to life in the way that he did, the man who basically we grew up hearing, as the voice of Prime. Our hearts are connected to Peter Cullen, and our childhoods are connected to Peter Cullen, and most of the franchise is connected to Peter Cullen. It's Optimus Prime. So this is a very new thing. One thing I will say, there is a positive aspect of this, and the silver lining is, this is necessary. It's necessary to start giving voice actors a chance to deliver their renditions of Optimus Prime, whether it is inspired or not by Peter Cullen, because there will be times where they will have to pick other people for voices. Maybe Peter Cullen might retire soon. We don't know how long he will continue with his career. It's a healthy thing to start experimenting with different voice actors and different cadences and different approaches to Optimus's character. My hope is that the delivery is received well by the fans, and that it actually really captures the aesthetic of Prime. We have new voice actors confirmed. Darkwing, so he's being voiced by Isaac Singleton Jr. Arachnid is being voiced by Vanessa Liguori. Shockwave, voiced by Jason K. Alvarez. John Bailey is voicing Soundwave. We know him as Epic Voice Guy. And then we have Evan Michael Lee voicing Jazz. Wow. You know what? I'm gonna put that in the historic thing, because we ain't seen Jazz. I'm talking like front and center on the big screen since 2007. The Bayverse killed him off so early, we got none of Jazz for the rest of the Bayverse after 2007. We're getting Jazz this month. I really hope he gets some good screen time. Now, one of the things that I wanted to discuss in this episode is, when I started making this video and preparing, I actually had the perception that Transformers 1 would probably have a rough opening, with the box office, because of maybe the marketing or like the popularity of the franchise and all of this. But what I found is, in my research to find evidence of that claim, my opinion actually flipped. I think we have more of a chance of a strong opening than not. This film has a good potential to make more than what they're projecting because of all of the supporting factors, and that's what I want to talk about. What I love about it is that it's a lore-focused film, so people that are not really understanding much about Transformers will get an introduction to the whole franchise from this film. So it is something the general audience can join the bandwagon and actually understand as well. But the biggest thing is the box office, and I initially felt I don't know if this is gonna have a good box office opening, because I don't know how the popularity is, I don't know if the marketing's good enough, I don't know. I basically made a pro and con list of all the pros that will help the box office and what will hurt the box office. My pro list just swallowed my con list. So let's first get into the negative impacts. What I was thinking was going to be the longest list. Now, one thing I have to say is the early screenings. We know that the early screenings, they've been doing a lot of those from Paramount. They've been, inviting content creators. They've been doing early parties for the crew members. They've been inviting the public all over the place, all over the country. And even in the UK, usually when a movie is not performing in the way that the studio is confident in, they won't release it until release day to give them all the time that they need to make the refinements or to change whatever. I remember when I interviewed Stephen Gable Jr., he was saying, that he was surprised to see people's reactions because they had just finished putting the last shot the week before, and they were still making refinements for the movie really close to the release. Not every movie will be like that, but for Paramount in this case, it's not. They're confident. It's almost like the product is finished, so they're ready to just release it and show the world. But the early screenings, them doing so many of those, can affect the opening weekend box office, because a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them may not return for opening day because they've already seen the film. So that does, in a way, reduce the box office results for opening night, opening weekend. Now, they probably feel so confident, doesn't matter, they might say, well, they might love it so much, they might come back for opening night. And I see a lot of people saying that, I watched it for this early screening, but I will be there for opening weekend because I need to see this again. Maybe the movie is that good. I see people comparing it to Spider-Verse 2, which is like one of the most popular and revered movies like ever for animated, and they're comparing Transformers 1. They're saying that this is kind of like the Spider-Verse of Transformers, which is insane. Now, another possibly negative factor, it could be positive, but one negative factor for sure, it could be the animated format for this film. Transformers is known to be more with the live action because that's all we've gotten since 2007, and we haven't gotten a theatrical animated film since 86. So this is a really big test. This is a really big test to see what the public audience, what the world feels about an animated Transformers movie after all of this time. There's another thing that will impact in some way the release, and that's the controversy surrounding the Mexican dub, the Spanish dub for Transformers 1. There are 2 voice actors, and I don't know all the facts about this, but I saw this online and I was like, there's no shot. They did not actually do that. Like, did they actually do that? They for real did that. So apparently Paramount Mexico hired 2 voice actors. One for the Spanish dub of Bumblebee, one for the Spanish dub of D16, or Megatron, whatever you want to call him. The voice actor for Megatron is not even a voice actor. He has, like, no experience voice acting. He's just a regular dude, I guess, they just picked. But the voice actor they picked for Bumblebee is, apparently, from what they're saying, he is, PDF file, Adobe Acrobat reader. When I read that, I was like, "There's no." Did they? How does anybody pass, like, the hiring process, the screening process for these? Like, are they just like, do they just not care? Are they desperate? Is it money involved? Are they paid? Or is it a bribe? I don't know how that happened, but that has caused an absolute tsunami, a full-on campaign to get them recasted, to get them changed, and I don't think Paramount Mexico has done anything to change it, and maybe because they're too far along. Movie's over, it's about to come out, all the voices and lines are recorded, they're just gonna put it out, whatever. I don't know, but that's insane. So we've already seen the impact of that. We've seen campaigns to try to get it changed, we've seen the controversy around it, we've seen some people saying they're gonna boycott it. Some people are even review bombing the film on, like, I think it's IMDb or one of the online review forums, review bombing it, just like tons and tons of negative reviews in a form of protest. In my view, I think that's not the best way to do it, because it's not necessarily the movie, it's just the casting. But that's another thing that can affect at least the Mexican box office revenue. But those are the most of the negative things that I can think of and that I've seen about the box office. But let me tell you about the positive. The digital marketing has been insane. Like, the theatrical posters we've gotten for the film reminded me of the Rise of the Beast marketing, like the freaking Real D3D posters and the IMAX poster. All those posters on top of the new clips and TV spots that we've gotten, along with the AR campaigns. To the physical marketing, we've gotten billboards, on the side of the roads, people are spotting them, the public signage. We've gotten general merchandise, like, the cinema merch. We just got the news of the Cinemark popcorn buckets. They're going to be doing that, like they do with every film. That all plays into the marketing, which is really awesome, and I'm going to get me one. It's going to happen. And then we have the general merch from, like, the Amazon official shop, like this thing right here, you know what I'm saying? That's why I got this at the Amazon shop. And I honestly think the celebrity casting, people say, oh, they're not, casting the actual voice actors for the roles. Well, there is a positive thing about casting somebody like freaking Chris Hemsworth. Their fan bases, who are not necessarily diehard Transformers fans, might just watch the movie to support them. Like Scarlett Johansson and Keegan-Michael Key, they all have pretty big fan bases. Like, I know for Lightyear, I went and watched Lightyear just to support Chris Evans, because I love and I freaking adore Chris Evans. But I'm not, like, massive on the Toy Story or Buzz Lightyear thing. I'm not, like, a diehard, but I went on opening night to support Chris Evans because I love him so much. Well, there might be people who might do the same for Transformers 1 with, Chris Hemsworth. That could offset some of the negative impacts. I will also say that this movie has a really strong appeal to younger audiences, and I think what they're trying to do is find a good balance, where it attracts the younger audience, but it also delivers something for the mature, older audiences. Because you have that Pixar-style feel, you got the humor that they showed in the first teaser. That's gonna bring the kids, because the kids are, it's fun, it's lighthearted, it's family friendly. So it's giving that projection from there, but they also have reports of darker themes, or people from early reviews saying, it really gets brutal, it really gets into that mature and darker element, that adult element that will attract the adult audience. So this is going to be a healthy balance. I think it's going to bring people because of that, but the appeal to the younger audience is big because we've seen how great other animated films that are mainly catered to the younger audience is doing lately. I mean, look at Despicable Me 4. I mean, I know it's a different franchise, but we see the appeal to younger audiences. That movie had a very, I want to say, what, $100 million budget? And it's like almost 5 times that revenue in the box office right now. Now, according to a report that I saw, there's a few publications out there giving the box office projections. And so the current domestic opening weekend range for Transformers 1 is between 40 million and 50 million. The believed movie budget is about 95 million for the actual creation of the movie. And they're saying the domestic opening weekend range is between 40 and 50 million. That's not a lot for opening weekend. Normally, opening weekend is supposed to be as strong as possible because the following weekend is not going to be as strong as the opening. This is the big chance to get as much revenue as possible. Now, the production designer for this film, Jason Scheer, spoke out on this projection, and he said, in order for us to start working on a sequel, we need more than this. Box office means a lot in our business. Let's show them we are more than meets the eye. So obviously, the projections are not in the ideal range for the success of the film. We got Rise of the Beasts, and Rise of the Beasts got 437 million worldwide. Transformers Rise of the Beasts, I believe, got a 60 to 70 million opening weekend. So I'm hoping something like that. The final thing I want to say about the box office is that what really made me think about the success of this film, about why it might be successful, is because the competition is very weak. And that's a good thing. There is another film dropping the weekend after Transformers 1, but there's no film of competition dropping on the night of Transformers 1, on the weekend. There is a DreamWorks animation, The Wild Robot, dropping the weekend after Transformers 1. Now, that is based off of a popular children's book series, but it's not, I don't think it has the same IP strength and popularity as Trans-freaking-Formers. Maybe that's just my fan brain, but I don't think that's on the same level. Overall, I think the movie's going to be a success. I think that, especially with the second trailer, that trailer really made a lot of people that were skeptics into hopefuls. And people that were not going to see the movie are now interested. It's going to be a very tailored movie for the fans. We're pretty much 2 weeks away until the release of the movie, and I'm not watching any more trailers, no more clips. I'm not watching no more TV spots. I'm done. There was an Alfonso Nation fan that saw the film. He messaged me, and he had tears in his eyes, and he's like, "Alfonso, you're gonna freaking cry." And I'm like, no, I don't want to cry. I did ask him. I was like, "Don't tell me nothing. I don't want to know spoilers. I don't want to know nothing. But tell me this, because I am curious. Where does this stand against the live action films, like the big awesome blockbusters, freaking 07, Dark of the Moon, right? Rise of the Beasts was pretty fun too." And his exact words was like, "It made me forget about all of them." He said, "This is how a Transformers movie should be." They freaking cooked, because I didn't hear that kind of language for a lot of other TF projects in a long, periodically time. Go watch Transformers 1, the tickets are now available. I got my tickets, we're gonna watch it in IMAX, and I got my friends and the execs. They're gonna be collabing, we're gonna be doing some stuff, so it's gonna be exciting. We're gonna make some content, see it together, and just enjoy Transformers, because after that, it's gonna be 2026 until we see another movie in theaters with a G.I. Joe crossover. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below What do you think about this film? What do you think about all the early reviews, all the posters, all the trailers? Are you excited? Where's your excitement level? Do you think this is going to perform well? Do you think the Wild Robot is a significant competition for this movie? Or do you think we are going to freaking cook and this month is ours? I think this month is ours. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Till we reach 1.